Well, hello everybody. This is Chat with Chad on Time Tip Tuesday. And I just want to talk to you about this Memorial Day. Just kind of finishing up the weekend. It was good for my soul. I got to spend some time with my dad, my sisters, and their spouses. We laughed hard. We shared stories. We ate good food. We took in a couple of baseball games and coffee shops and museums. And honestly, those moments reminded me of why Fog to Focus and to Freedom matters so much to me in the first place. The goal was never just productivity, right? You can be efficient, but you can efficiently go off a cliff. So the goal is really more like space for what matters most. My mom passed away a couple of years ago, and moments like this remind me of how precious time really is. Not just managing time, but using it well, using it on purpose. Uh, my goal for you would be able to persevere towards your purpose and your passion. And that got me thinking this week about focus in a different way a little bit. Part of staying focused is knowing what you're obsessed with. Not obsessed in an unhealthy way, but obsessed enough that you can't stop thinking about it. Obsessed enough that even when it doesn't make logical sense, you still keep showing up for it. That perseverance is a very important thing. One of my brother-in-laws made a comment this week that really stuck with me. He basically said his brain works differently than mine. Which I'm assuming most people do, honestly. And he thinks statistically, he said, he thinks ROI, efficiency. And if something takes 12,000 hours and doesn't produce much money, then why keep doing it? And honestly, I understand that thinking, but I also realize something. Some things are more valuable than money. And some things are worth your life even when they don't immediately pay you back financially. And years ago, I worked with volunteers at a hospital, and we had hundreds of volunteers there, from retired people to students trying to figure out their future. And the question we consistently and constantly asked was just simple: do you want to make a difference? And that question changes people. It gets people out of their bed so that they can start to put makeup on. It challenges a high school or a college student to start thinking about what they want to do with their life. But I also remember a surgeon once walking into my office and quietly saying, "I don't want to be a surgeon anymore, but I owe $500,000 in student loans. So what am I going to do?" And that hit me hard. I started thinking about how many people spend their lives becoming who they thought they were supposed to be, only to wake up later realizing that they never actually chose it. Our subconscious thinking is incredible how it affects us. For a long time, I mostly did what everyone else expected me to do. And now I'm learning to ask, what do I believe I was made to do? As soon as you begin to go down that path, I'm going to tell you there's going to be resistance. There really will be. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be uphill. It's going to feel uphill. And years ago, right before helping start a new church in our town, I was wrestling with whether I should stay comfortable or step into something uncertain. And around that time, I watched the movie Braveheart. And there's a line in that movie that I'll never forget. Basically says that every man dies, not every man really lives. And that line wrecked me a little bit. How about a lot, actually? And because deep down, I think most of us are terrified of wasting our lives, not failing, not struggling, not looking foolish, those kind of things, wasting it and playing it safe, sleepwalking through life, ignoring the thing we can't stop thinking about. And Steve Jobs said it kind of this way. I love this quote. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes, the ones who see things differently. And I love that quote because I think every person who has a calling feels just a little bit crazy sometimes. And you wonder, why do you keep doing what you're doing? Because it's definitely an easier way, right? And you work on things other people don't understand. You keep doing and going when the numbers don't make sense. You care deeply about something that most people would quit on. And maybe that's okay. Maybe the people who change the world are rarely the people who played it safe. There's a phrase in the marketing world that says that people buy for health and wealth and relationships. But honestly, I think there is another category for the crazies, like maybe you and me. It's called calling. And the people who feel like they were made for something, the people who know that they're carrying an assignment, even if they can't fully explain it yet, the people willing to look foolish in pursuit of purpose, uh, to not quit when, man, they would sure easily prefer to. I'm not saying be reckless. I am saying don't ignore the thing that keeps pulling at your heart. Don't spend your whole life asleep like so many people do. One of the lines from Jerry Maguire in his manifest said, "A life is not worth living if you're sleepwalking through it." So wake up. You hear me? Wake up. Ask yourself, what are you living for? What are you willing to give your life to? And at the end of your life, will you be glad you risked something meaningful? Are you just going to be asleep in your life? Because focus isn't just about calendars, it's about what matters most. And freedom comes from when you finally stop living someone else's life and what everybody else expects, and you start living the one you were created for. So here's my time tip Tuesday for the day. This week, carve out 30 quiet minutes and just ask yourself one question. What can I not go a day without thinking about? Don't answer quickly. Sit with it. Let me know what you discovered. You see, the answer may tell you more about your calling than you realize. This is Chad Earhart with Fog to Focus. Oh, by the way, one activity my family did together was to go to the Negro League Museum in Kansas City. And what stood out to me were the many individuals who led change against the status quo until colored people were finally recognized as people too, and they were allowed into the National Baseball League. Eventually, people were allowed to actually eat together in the same restaurant. It's crazy as I think back several years ago in this United States of America country is where I am today. And and then there was a scripture that stood out to me. As soon as you walk in, it's Ecclesiastes 2, 1 to 2, and it says this: My son, if you aspire to be a servant of the Lord, prepare yourself for testing, and then set a straight course and keep to it, and don't be dismayed in the face of adversity. That's my encouragement for you today. Thank you for being here. Peace.